propel himself into championship contention.
Yeah, I like AJ's enthusiasm, but he better watch himself. A little trivia here for these fans here tonight listening in. Tony Johnson and I at one time were Fight Society before Fight Society was cool. We tore this building down in a last man standing match, so AJ better watch himself here.
Johnson out the back door, and to your point, Paul, Tony Johnson may be new to the Fight Society, but he is not new to this building or McKeesport, Pennsylvania. As you said, Tony Johnson spent some of his formative years in the PWX promotion. But I have to say that the man that we saw 4 or 5 years ago in this building, that's not the Tony Johnson we're seeing today.
Oh, no, he has totally reinvented himself. And I'll tell you what, he was a vicious competitor back then, and he's even more so now.
Very polished. And I think we can say that Tony Johnson of 2019 is really just entering the prime of his career.
Yeah, there's no two ways about that. This young man has done a lot to climb his way up the ladder, and tonight he has a chance to jump right into the thick of things by becoming a PWX Contenders champion.
Nice escape from Johnson. Takes the hammer lock and is really going to try to look to grind down AJ Alexander, which is smart because AJ thrives on that momentum. He thrives on a high-paced matchup, and he maintains control here. Takes Johnson down to the canvas. Very smart. You can speak on that because where you win a matchup is right on the canvas.
That's right. Keeping Tony Johnson grounded, keeping his head to the mat, trying to get those shoulders in, and really grinding in against the ear there is AJ Alexander.
That's my call. And for Tony Johnson, you would think, he does have a lot of hype behind him coming back here to this building in McKeesport, Pennsylvania, because of how much he's accomplished both inside and outside of Pittsburgh. But as we said in the opening moments, he does have a tough test ahead of him because, quite frankly, there may be no one on the Fight Society roster with more momentum than AJ Alexander right now.
AJ Alexander, he did not become a champion by accident, that's for sure. This young man has been honing his skills each and every week, month after month, and it's brought him to the top right now. Let's face it, that Contenders title, that puts him in line for a shot at the Fight Society.
Nice leverage maneuver from Tony Johnson. AJ neutralizes it. Really seeing the human chess match play out here, Paul.
Yes, it is. Both these men, give and take.
You can see Johnson trying to work his way back up to a vertical base again. AJ hangs on. Unorthodox but effective technique right there.
Hanging on to the beard. It might not be the best way to do it, but he held on to that headlock.
And in this situation, not only does... Wait a minute. Again, this is the physical struggle we're seeing here as both men trying to find the advantage, find the position to capitalize upon. Of course, Johnson, we know, is very technically savvy, which is why he's trying to utilize the top wrist lock here.
Trying to use that height advantage right now.
And that is why Tony Johnson has really reached the next level in his career. Going for a top wrist lock, making AJ Alexander think about that top wrist lock, but knowing all along he was going to transition to the fireman's carry, and now he has complete control of the matchup here.
Yeah, Tony Johnson has definitely upped his game since the last time he was in the battlegrounds, that's for sure.
Deep arm drag from Johnson to maintain control.
If you notice, he held on to that arm the entire time.
And look at Johnson planting the kneecap at the base of the shoulder to be able to further twist and wrench, contort at the arm here.
That elbow is definitely not made to bend that way, and Tony Johnson's taking full advantage of it.
Trying to bar the arm, maybe going for a key lock. And to your point, this entire time, Tony Johnson maintaining wrist and arm control. Shoots Alexander off. And what agility from Johnson. Up and over goes the Iceman. And we're seeing some psychological warfare as well. Certainly some respect between these two young guns right now. I think AJ just realized he's he's in for a real fight in here. Up and over goes AJ. Wucha pass. Sling blade plants Johnson. His head bounced off the canvas that time.
Tony's reeling right now. I think they may have jarred a screw loose in his head right now. He's looking a little dazed.
And this is AJ's wheelhouse, to rev up the momentum, to rev up the pace. And I don't think the Iceman was too impressed with that chop.
Show him how it's done.
And I believe the feeling out process is over, Paul.
Yeah, AJ took the lesson and gave it right back to the Iceman.
Trust me, I can understand and appreciate the sportsmanship, but make no mistake about it. This is for the PWX Contenders Championship. And as you said, that is a pathway to the Fight Society Championship. Speaking of which, Paul, how about that war waiting on tonight? Hellfire Club collides Beastman and Doe.
Yeah, I think the Hellfire Club is ready to explode here tonight in this Battlegrounds.
And man, that was nasty, jarring the elbow.
Not just the elbow, Jim, but the wrist jams into the mat as well. And I think AJ's found his form now on those chops.
Diving blockbuster. Another trademark of Alexander. Really wants to take those chances.
Yeah, he calls himself the master of the neck breaker. He's constantly trying to work on a man's neck.
That's one thing that we have to give AJ Alexander. He is studying the most dynamic, most innovative maneuvers like that right there. He has a lexicon, a playbook of maneuvers from all over the globe. Every style of wrestling AJ Alexander tries to implement into his own in-ring style. And speaking of all over the globe, here's some European uppercuts from the Iceman.
Yeah, Tony Johnson will get a little international on you too, by the way.
And that tells you the story. Physicality personified here in the Battlegrounds. Swinging fisherman's neck breaker. Again, to your point, Paul, living up to the name, coming up with all type of variations here. Could that be enough? Hooks the leg. Johnson more so rolling the shoulder than kicking out there.
Yeah, that one definitely took a lot out of the Iceman.
AJ looking a little lackadaisical in there. You don't want to do that.
No, you don't want to do that against this man. He'll knock your lights out.
Like
Just
that
like
right
that.
there. We may be moments from a new champion. The Iceman making a statement. He wants to make his claim here in the Fight Society.
Yeah, it's been a few years since he's been here, and he wants to show that he has not lost a step.
And just hurling his body, and Alexander follows up, shoulder step. And you can see the pain etched on the face of Alexander. He's going to have to prove, does he really have what it takes? Does he have the characteristics of a champion? Can he defend that Contenders Championship?
Both these men looking a little worse for wear right now.
Johnson pressing forward here. Buried the knee into the breadbasket, driving all the air out of Alexander. Paul, if you can, speak to how important it is to have your wind throughout a matchup.
Oh, without a doubt. If you can't breathe, you can't do anything, Jim. These guys got to be in tip-top condition all the time. You got to be ready to go out there anywhere from 15, 20 minutes to an hour a night. If you can't do that, you don't belong at the top of these cards.
And again, Johnson going to work on that wind as he dropped the knee into the rib cage, forcing AJ to expend the energy to kick out. And he does so again. Johnson getting a little frustrated. He's really been able to string the maneuvers together, still only finding a 2 count.
Yeah, I got to give it to AJ. He's a young man. He's not been in this business very long, but he is really testing the Iceman here tonight.
Johnson measuring AJ, and AJ a desperation maneuver using his head as a weapon. And again, we're seeing the physical side of these two athletes surface here.
AJ of Samoan descent. And we know what hard heads those Samoans can have.
Jumping knee catches Johnson, leg sweep. I'm not sure how much of he connected with that. Did he get enough? Johnson got the left shoulder up. Clearly, Alexander maybe a little too overzealous.
Yeah.
Didn't make full contact. Didn't get enough of that back knee strike.
Not only did he not get enough contact, he did not get enough body on that pin either.
He may have here. And again, Johnson gets the shoulder up.
AJ's got to get his weight more over top of Johnson's chest and shoulders if he wants to keep the Iceman down.
It's tough. He is strong. He is so strong.
AJ could be going for another suplex variation. Iceman didn't want to go, but he didn't have a choice. He got dropped right on the back of his neck that time.
Yeah, I think he may have hurt himself here.
Jackknife cover. Iceman rolls through, but so does Alexander. Iceman out the back door. Shoulders. What a matchup. What a back and forth contest.
He's going for a backslide here.
Bicycle kick. Cover here. Iceman's going to steal it. And that's where getting overzealous, that young enthusiasm could come back to bite AJ because his shoulders almost got put down.
Yeah, these guys have been going at it for a good 10 minutes now, and AJ was a little not enough strength there to execute that. He was going for that electric chair type maneuver.
If you get over emotional, it can come back to bite you, no doubt.
It almost did right there.
He's going back for it. Hits it that time. Clutching his ankle, is that enough? And it is.
Got him.
We had a time of